All right. Welcome, everyone. My name is Kara Bradley, and I'm really excited to bring you this introduction to mental fitness. Mental fitness is something that I have been involved in and really passionate about for, dare I say, the last 40 years of my career. And I'll tell you a little bit more about myself as we move through this. But for now, I want you to know that this short intro is really about you. It's about you assessing the things that you're doing in your life that are working and areas of your life and your self care that may need a little bit of a boost and a little bit of strengthening. Mental fitness is really what happens when our body and our mind work together. So there really is no such thing as physical fitness and mental fitness. But if I just said fitness to you, this is an introduction to fitness, overall fitness, you would immediately go to what you do to strengthen your body. This is why I call it mental fitness. And when the body and mind are in synergy, when our systems are working together, it amplifies how we feel. It amplifies how we feel physically, emotionally, mentally, in our relationships. It amplifies our creativity, our willingness to collaborate. It also amplifies how we sense into the world, how we sense each other, how we feel in our environment. So, mental fitness and the synergy of body and mind is really the most important thing for us to be paying attention to in our daily lives. Mental fitness has different pillars. And these pillars that I'm going to explain to you in this intro, I will go into further in the 101 course. But for now, let's sit with and go through these different pillars of mental fitness that are in many ways a non negotiable in your life. And so, if there's any aspect or any area of these pillars that you feel like, oh, I know I should do that, but I just don't pay attention to that, or I tried that once and it just didn't work for me, trust me, these are non negotiables because what's happening in our body at any given time is that all of our systems are working really, really hard to keep us in balance. Our body, extraordinary intelligence of our body is always working to not only survive, but to stay balanced, to survive, to thrive. And so at any given time, any one of these systems could be off balance, out of balance, weak, not functioning properly. And when any system is not functioning properly, it's not able to add to the whole of how we feel. So I encourage you to look at your own life as I go through these pillars and to assess yourself with honesty and love and kindness to say, I probably need a little more attention over here, or I probably need to maybe back off here and offer a little more here. So let's dive into it. How to build mental fitness. Let's think for a moment about how we build physical fitness. You know, I'm old enough now to remember back when people first started jogging and exercising. It was in the 70s. I was a kid, but I remember people starting to tie up their tennis shoes and go out jogging. And I remember my Italian grandmother thinking it was so strange. And then my mom would put on her leotard and her tights, and she would go off to Lucille Roberts at the time and do her calisthenics. There was a time when we were just starting to learn how to become physically fit. And in many ways, we're at that same juncture now when it comes to how to train to be mentally fit or to feel more calm, more clear, more confident more often. So the definition that I use for mental fitness is really what happens when there is synergy of body and mind, when our body and mind are working together, enhancing and amplifying our overall wellness and how we perform and our performance in the world. So if you could think about these couple of C words that I like to use, and these are a collection of words that will help you understand when you feel mentally fit and when you feel a little off balance. And some of those words are clear and calm. Those are two key words. Your body feels calm and your mind feels clear. When that happens, there's a general confidence about how we move in the world. So clear, calm, and confident. And then there are other C words, which I mentioned just briefly a little bit ago. There is creativity, collaboration, compassionate, connected. We feel courageous. We feel like we're able to be more coherent in the world or congruent in the world. So some of these C words, and there are plenty more, are ways to define what it feels like to be mentally fit when body and mind are working together, giving information back and forth about what's needed in any given moment. All right, how do I know this? Well, like I said before, I've spent my entire career helping people feel and perform their best. And the reason why I've spent my whole career is because I have been personally interested in how to realize my potential, how to awaken dormant capacities in me, how to live in a way that everything comes online so I can give my all to myself, to my health, to my family, my husband, my daughters, to my work, to the people I work with and coach, to my friends, to my mom, to my brothers and their families. How do I live in a world and live in a way where I can feel and perform my best? And so that inquiry and that passion has led me to study and practice yoga, meditation, flow states, which are our optimal states, and also the gut, heart, brain axis, and the nervous system. And all of these areas of interest of mine and of areas that I now incorporate into my profession, I will be talking about here in these pillars of mental fitness. It all matters. That's what I really want to say to you. It all matters. And that's not to put a ton of pressure on you that, 24/7 you have to be in self-care mode. But what it is to say is you want to make sure that you are giving and paying attention to each one of these areas, because the sum of the parts of all of these systems massively is massive, right? It is not just 1 + 1 + 1 = 3. It's 1 + 1 + 1 = 5, 10, or even 20. So these pillars include physical fitness or movement, obviously. Movement, mind training, which includes meditation, nervous system regulation. This is something I've spent a lot of time understanding. How do we regulate our mood and our state? So we have movement, mind training, nervous system regulation, sleep hygiene, nutrition, which includes your gut, heart, brain connection, play, and nature. Today, we're just going to be able to touch on each one, and I'll try to give as much information as I can in the next 20 minutes or so. But in our course, in our one-on-one course, and in other work that I do out there, I definitely dive in very deep. I'm very, very passionate about helping people adjust the knobs and levers of each area of your mind, your body, your breathing, your nervous system, your gut, your immune system, and more, and how you connect with nature and how you play. So let's start with movement. Without movement and without moving our bodies every single day, the blood flow in our bodies is really greatly diminished. And blood flow is the key to our health and well-being. So movement is without a doubt a non-negotiable in our lives. And I think that we know that by now. Now, one thing, let me just back up for a minute. I got a little ahead of myself. What we were talking about before is that mental fitness and the way we build mental fitness is very much like the way we build physical fitness. So we now know that we have to cross-train to build physical fitness, to get strong and stable and supple in our body. We need to do different things. We can't just go out and walk every day. We can't just weight train every day or do yoga every day. We need to mix it up. We need to work our heart. We need to work strength. We need to work agility and flexibility. And so we've created different categories of physical training to cross-train, to get stronger, and to stay healthy. These pillars of mental fitness are just like the categories of cross-training for physical fitness. They're have-tos. We need to do all these different things in order to grow stronger, more supple, and more stable mentally as well. So movement is the first category. Physical fitness is an integral part, is an absolute must when it comes to building mental fitness. So I'm not going to get into what you need to do. I'm not going to tell you what you have to do to move your body, because I think most of us have a good idea and there's plenty of information out there. What I will say is that you want to pay attention to cross-training your body. You want to pay attention to moving your body in different ways every day. And so by doing that, you will build a strong, supple, stable body. But you also want to vary your intensity, how hard you're working out, your duration, how long you're working out, and also your volume. So if you're lifting weights and doing strength training like that, which you should include, you want to also be aware of changing the volume or the weight, and that's going to help you get stronger. So as a certified strength coach, I spent a lot of my career helping people understand how to build physical strength. And this is why I love mental fitness, because the same rules apply. We can't just do the same thing every single day and expect our bodies and minds to grow stronger. We need to challenge ourselves. We need to push our edges. We need to press up against the boundary of our comfort zone. This is how our muscles and our minds adapt and grow stronger. So it's very obvious when it comes to movement. It's it's common sense. We can't just walk or, golf or, do the same thing every day day in and day out and expect results. So we need to switch up the movement and also moving our body on different planes every day. And we need to change up the intensity, sometimes going harder, sometimes backing off, the time, sometimes running a little bit longer or walking longer or swimming longer. And then also the volume, the weight that we're doing it. If you always do push-ups with your knees dropped to the floor, try doing 2 or 1 with your knees off the floor. That's changing the volume. So that's movement. Movement is a key pillar in building mental fitness. The second one is mind training. Mind training is meditation, mindfulness training, awareness training. Now, if you're like most people, you've tried it. You've tried it. Oh, you've had a streak of about a week and then you fall off. It's like, oh, I just don't get this meditation thing. I've spent a lot of the last 15 years teaching meditation to athletes, to CEOs, to high performers, to ordinary everyday people. And we're all dealing with the same thing. We all have a very busy mind. And that busy mind is unruly, it's undisciplined, and it's simply just untrained. So what meditation really is, if you want to know the secret, it's based on the Tibetan word for meditation, which is GOM, G-O-M, GOM. And GOM means, in translation, to become familiar with. I love this. It takes all the pressure off, doesn't it? To become familiar with your mind. That's what meditation practice is about. It's about quieting everything else down and really just getting to know what your busy mind is so busy doing. And so mind training begins with simply watching, noticing. Oh, my mind is wandering. Uh-oh, there it goes. Let me bring my mind back to this breath, to this mantra, to this candle, to whatever it is you're meditating on. And so when you can think about meditation or mind training as a way to become familiar with your mental patterns, with what your mind does just unconsciously, that's the first step in beginning to start changing those patterns so that you can then focus more often and for longer periods of time. Just like with movement and physical fitness, in mind training, we're going to apply some of the same principles. You apply longer duration. Maybe as a beginner, you start with a 3-minute meditation. And as you progress, you start pushing it a little bit. You start going longer, stretching the duration. And the same goes with the intensity. Sometimes the intensity of a practice, especially as a beginner, is simply to keep your mind on your breath. But as you progress, you're going to press the gas pedal down a little more. You're going to apply a little more pressure and start to meditate on different things, perhaps emotional patterns or sensations, or you may start even meditating on compassion and loving kindness. I hope this is making sense. This isn't just a, one size fits all. These pillars and these categories of cross training to build mental fitness, it's just a blueprint for you to customize and play with. All right, let's progress here. We have movement, mind training. The next, and one of my favorite, is nervous system regulation. What the heck does that mean, Kara? Well, spend a lot of time here because in any given moment, we are in a different state of body-mind. Right now, you may be feeling a little impatient. Like, come on, Kara, just get on with it. I got so much to do today. What are you talking about? So you may notice a little bit of jitteriness or impatience, or maybe you're feeling a little low energy or a little hyper energy. Becoming aware of your states is the first step to regulating your states so that you feel more optimal more often. And we get to do this. We have these knobs and levers available to us that help us to upregulate and downregulate how we feel moment to moment. The first and the most important nervous system regulator is your breath. Simple breathing. When you change your breath and your breath pattern, and actually I'm not breathing right now, so I'm going to take a breath. Happens when I talk a lot. Sometimes I forget to breathe, and we all do it. But changing our breath changes our state. So as you are learning and filling in the gaps of your cross training for mental fitness, you're going to find breath and breath patterns and breath work to be a dominant practice in your everyday life. There are other things you can do to regulate your nervous system. And I talk about this a lot in all the work that I do out there. And I'll just name a couple. Singing a song, taking a cold shower, splashing your face with cold water, finding rhythm, any kind of rhythm, whether it be music or movement or singing or humming, can help you to regulate your nervous system. And then finally, silence and stillness. They're perfect ways to settle down a busy mind or to relax an agitated nervous system. So that's nervous system regulation. So we have movement, mind training, nervous system regulation, and the next one is sleep hygiene. Boy, oh boy, if there's one thing that's changed my life in the last 2 years, it has been my focus on getting quality sleep. And so simply focusing on sleep hygiene, which simply means having a sleep routine every day, is going to help move the needle in how you feel physically and mentally, period. Some of the sleep hygiene protocols that I swear by are dimming the lights as the evening progresses. About 2 hours before I go to sleep, I dim the lights. Trying not to eat or drink alcohol 2 to 3 hours before I go to bed. Sleeping in a cold room, preferably 68 degrees or less. Sleeping in a dark room, so covering all the shades, no blue lights. Turning off those blue lights, in other words, not going to bed with the iPad on your belly, which I confess I still do sometimes. And you can use scents like essential oils, lavender to start to calm your mind. You can also take certain types of foods or supplements, natural supplements, that can help your body produce its own melatonin. So the whole point is to get your body prepared for sleep. That's sleep hygiene. All right, I'm going to review every time now. Movement, mind training, nervous system regulation, sleep hygiene, nutrition, obviously. Hippocrates said thousands of years ago that all disease begins in the gut. Our food is our mood. Our food will give us the picture of how we feel physically and mentally. And I have spent a good part of the last 2 years understanding the new science of the gut-brain connection. What the gut-brain connection is, it's how what's happening in our lower intestines, which is really what houses our microbiome, our gut microbiome, how our microbiome talks to our brain, how our microbiome or our gut impacts our mental health. New research shows every single day we have more and more research coming out showing us how our gut health directly affects our mental health. If our gut microbiome, which is a combination of trillions of bacteria and viruses and microbiota, trillions, if those suckers are off balance, out of whack, not optimal, the signaling to our brain is going to be out of balance, not optimal. And so what research is showing is that when our gut is out of balance and our immune system is inflamed, there is much more likelihood that we are going to experience brain fog, fatigue, lethargy, distraction, inability to focus, even anxiety and depression. We're not going to feel as happy or as motivated. So I've spent 40 years here working on myself and helping others to feel and perform their best. And in the last few years, we have learned more about how to do that from our gut than ever before. So I'm going to put some links down in the bio about how to find out more about what I'm doing when it comes to the gut-brain connection and mental fitness. I'm partnering with a company that is targeted specific micronutrients that we just can't get in food to help modulate or optimize our gut and prime our immune system for optimal mental health, mental wellness, or what I like to call mental fitness. So that's nutrition. It starts with the food that you're eating and the supplements that you're enhancing your gut with to help you build calm, clarity, confidence, courage, coherence, and more. All right, we're moving on. We're almost there. Movement, mind training, nervous system regulation, sleep hygiene, nutrition, and gut health, and play. Play. Do you play? Do you schedule play into your life? I have to do that. Otherwise, I work a lot because in a lot of ways my work is my play. But I also have to schedule in play. There's work play and there's play. Are you playing? Are you playing in a way that's not a workout? Are you playing in a way that's not, something to check off your to-do list? Are you scheduling just free time to explore your curiosities, to go off on a tangent, to learn something new for the sake of learning it? So I encourage you to look at that. That may be a missing link in your mental fitness cross-training. I know it was for me. And that's why I have to schedule it into my day. And so now I have this free time, not every day, and it's not always a lot of time, but time to play, weekends off, time to explore, time to experiment with new things. When we play, it changes our neurochemistry. In other words, the neurotransmitters, the hormones that are released in our body, change how we feel. And when we play, it releases endorphins and serotonin and different neurotransmitters that make us feel more childlike, that help us feel and experience more joy and more awe in our lives. And that brings me to our last pillar of mental fitness, nature. Nature and play oftentimes go hand in hand. Nature and being with nature, it changes our mood state. It changes our microbiome, actually. When we're outside with hands on dirt, even with hands-on animals like dogs, cats, and other, it changes the bacteria in our body. And that's a good thing. We want diversity of bacteria for a flourishing microbiome and for optimal mental wellness and mental fitness. So getting outdoors, getting into the woods, onto the mountains, into the ocean, getting yourself outside of your four walls where you're not getting that direct sunlight. Nature is essential for your body mind. And the beautiful thing about nature is that it's always present. Think about it. The trees don't care if it's raining, snowing, or windy. The earth, the soil, the grass, the flowers, the dogs, the birds, they're content right where they are in the moment. And so their presence helps us to become more grounded and present as well. If you can't get outdoors, if you're having one of those days, there are ways for you to experience nature indoors. And so what I like to recommend is, or are, cats and dogs, birds and fish, iguanas, whatever you have as a pet. Spending a couple of minutes with a pet, with an animal, or I will say a small child, like a child that doesn't talk back to you, say no back to you, one of those young toddlers or babies. Oh, delicious, right? They bring us into happy mood. They help us breathe. They help us settle. And if you don't have any of those in your house, you can grab some vegetables and fruits. Go make yourself a soup. Chopping carrots, chopping potatoes. There's something about it. Making a big fruit salad, the colors, the textures, the smells, helps to settle us, settle our system, make us feel more grounded and more whole. So there we are, my friends. The pillars or the cross-training categories for building mental fitness: movement, mind training, nervous system regulation, sleep hygiene, nutrition and gut health, play, and nature. And then there's one other that I throw in there for extra credit, and that's social engagement, being with other people. For sure, it's something we've been vastly deficient of in the past year and a half, but it's all coming back. So get yourself out there, even if it feels uncomfortable, and start to commune with other people, share meals with other people, and more. All right, that is your introduction to mental fitness. Let me see what else I have here to make sure. Working the knobs and levers of this cross-training blueprint will help you to round out your fitness protocol. And remember, it's not just the mind, it's the body and the mind. When the body and the mind work together in synergy, it amplifies, greatly amplifies how we feel and how we perform. Who doesn't want to feel more calm, clear, and confident every single day? I thank you for joining me. Again, my name is Kara Bradley. I look forward to engaging with you in future programs on this platform. And I am open for questions. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out and engage with me. Thanks again for tuning in, and congratulations for watching to the very, very end. Be well.